Hi everybody, this is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Thursday, December the 14th. Welcome to our video commentary. Today we're going to talk about Mexico. Mexico has a presidential election next July. The way it works in Mexico is that the election is the first week of July and then the next president takes over the first week of December. So they've got a transition of about 5 months, a pretty long transition to say the least, but that's how it works. So a lot of candidates are lining up for the presidential election. Mexico will likely have 3 or 4 major candidates running for president, and something that has happened in Mexico now for the last 4 presidential elections is that the winner of the election has won with a plurality. In fact, the last 3 presidents of Mexico have been elected with between 35 and 40% of the vote. You have to go back decades to find someone who actually won the majority of the popular vote. Right now, these elections are very competitive, and the rules in Mexico are very simple. Whoever gets the most votes, whether it's 35%, 38%, or 42%, becomes the president. So this means very likely that the next president of Mexico will once again be a president elected by a plurality and not a majority of the popular vote. Now, the one man who's getting a lot of attention right now, and by the way, as I said before, there are some names that are going to come into the picture over the next few weeks, but right now, the one man who is leading in the polls is a fellow by the name of Andrés Manuel Lopez-Obrador. He's known to most of us as Lopez-Obrador. He has a lot of experience in name recognition, which is probably the reason he's leading in the polls. He ran for president in 2006 and lost a very close election. He ran for president in 2012 and came in second, not so close, but he came in second again. So this is a man who has been number 2 in the last 2 presidentials of Mexico, and therefore has a lot of name recognition, has a huge following as well. He's kind of a difficult politician for us here in the United States to understand because for example, economically, he probably sounds a lot like Bernie Sanders. In terms of character and personality, he probably sounds a lot like President Trump. He's very direct. He doesn't hold back. He likes to come back to his enemies. I mean, he is, in some respect, very similar to Trump in that sense, and very similar to Bernie Sanders politically. His one and only political job or political experience was when he served as mayor of Mexico City, and there he turned out to be pretty much of a centrist type of mayor. He didn't let the ideology get a hold of him. He pretty much governed with a centrist perspective, and most people remember him as a pretty decent mayor of Mexico City, not an extreme ideologue or anything like that. Right now, he's running on a campaign, very nationalistic campaign, where he wants to renegotiate NAFTA. He is right now talking a great deal about increasing the agricultural sector of Mexico. He feels that somehow the agricultural sector needs more government, which is, of course, in my opinion, the exact opposite. It needs less government. So bottom line, though, he's getting a lot of attention, and there's a very interesting article in the LA Times that came out suggesting that he may be the next president of Mexico. Now, I don't know who the next president of Mexico is going to be, because, as I say, some of the key names have not have not declared officially yet. We're going to find that out more over the next month. But if a man like Lopez Obrador were to win the presidency, this is clearly a challenge for President Trump, because here is a man from the left who I think would be unwilling to work with the United States on some areas. On the other hand, and I've heard both points of view, he may turn out to be a much more pragmatic president, as he did mayor of Mexico City. I mean, Mexico City is a very tough job. It's a big city, and as I say, he turned out to be a pretty pragmatic politician when he was mayor of Mexico City. So if he wins, I wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be a lot more pragmatic than populist, because you know, there's a big part of Mexico that is not going to vote for him, and he's got to take them into consideration, the business sector, the middle class, and so on. But he is right now, Lopez Obrador is right now the name that is ahead in the polls in Mexico, and if those polls were to stay this way, and again, there's no guarantee that they will, but if they were to stay this way until July, he would be the next president of Mexico, and that would be, as I say, a rather interesting situation, to say the least. We have all of these commentaries over at YouTube. We also put them on Twitter. We put them in my blog. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. From now on, we're going to start saying Merry Christmas because we're down to the last 2 weeks. So Merry Christmas to you and to your family. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.